Our cause is just, and it continues.
Much talk in the United States about a better relationship with Iran. What do you think of that?
I've been trying to alert the world to that danger.
Imagine what the world would be like with him in power. The idea is to try to help change the Middle East.
No question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever. If you take out Saddam's regime, and I think that people sitting right next door in Iran, young people, will say the time of such regimes, of such despots, is gone.
The Iraqi regime has plotted to develop anthrax and nerve gas and nuclear weapons. This is a regime that has something to hide from the civilized world.
No doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction.
Today we published a 50-page dossier detailing the history of Iraq's weapons of mass destruction program. It concludes that Iraq has chemical and biological weapons, which could be activated within 45 minutes.
Saddam Hussein and his regime are concealing their efforts to produce more weapons of mass destruction.
It turns out we were all wrong. That is most disturbing.
Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right? We spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. They lied. Okay. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
The main reason we went into Iraq at the time was we thought he had weapons of mass destruction. Turns out he didn't.
The evidence now is that there were not stockpiles of actual weapons ready to be deployed.
The estimate of the Iraqis who've died is astronomical. I mean, some figures say 600,000, some say more, impossible to know. Do you not have any regrets about Iraq?
No, I don't.
The West really doesn't understand militant Islam. So I wrote a book in 1995, and I said that if the West doesn't wake up to the suicidal nature of militant Islam, the next thing you'll see is the militant Islam is bringing down the World Trade Center.
It's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead.
Right after 9/11, about 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who had used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, "I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon.
We did not have any proof of a systematic effort to move into a nuclear weapon.
Iran has never attacked a neighbor. Israel has repeatedly attacked its neighbors. Iran signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Israel has refused to sign. Iran submits to inspection by the International Nuclear Energy Agency. Israel refuses to submit. Iran has no nuclear weapons. Israel has between 75 and 400 nuclear weapons. So Israel poses an existential threat to Iran.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.